Imagine living in a world where every single thing you own could be taken from you at any moment without you having a single say in the matter. Imagine living in constant fear of an all-powerful government that's no problem kicking down your door in the middle of the night and hauling you off to jail without charging you with a crime. And imagine living under the thumb of a king who doesn't even live in your country and has no interest in your well-being or the well-being of your family. Stop imagining, because that was the daily reality for the 13 American colonies. And it wasn't until July 4th, 1776 that they finally broke free. But it was one heck of a struggle. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most important documents in American history. It was the document that outlined the reasons why the 13 colonies were breaking away from the British Empire and declaring themselves the United States of America. But when Thomas Jefferson read the Declaration to the assembled patriots, there was more than a little bit of hesitation before he uttered those immortal words. You see, the Declaration of Independence didn't come out of nowhere. There had been growing tensions between the colonies and Great Britain for years. The British had passed a series of laws known as the Intolerable Acts in response to the Boston Tea Party, which had outraged the colonists and further decreased any goodwill between the two. The First Continental Congress had been convened in 1774 to discuss a unified response to the Intolerable Acts, and delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies had attended, except for Georgia. They wanted independence, but they knew that if they just up and left the British Empire, they would be utterly screwed. The vast majority of the colonists were still loyal to the crown, and many of them were simply too afraid to rock the boat. Even those who wanted independence were unsure if they could actually win a war against the mighty British. After all, this was the same empire that had successfully conquered much of North America, all of Europe, and large parts of Asia. But the colonists did have one major advantage, which was their leader, a man by the name of Samuel Adams. Adams was a true revolutionary who dedicated his life to fighting for the rights of the people. He was the driving force behind the Boston Tea Party and was instrumental in organizing the Continental Congress. Adams was also a gifted orator and writer, and he used his talents to persuade the colonists that they could and should fight for their freedom. The Second Continental Congress met in Philadelphia in May of 1776. And Adams was determined to get them to declare independence. He knew that it wouldn't be easy, though, so he brought in some big guns to help him make his case. Thomas Jefferson was one of the most talented writers in the colonies, and Adams asked him to draft a document that would outline the reasons for independence. Jefferson finished the document in just 3 weeks, and it was adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776. But even after the Declaration was adopted, there was still a lot of work to do. Adams knew that the British would not take kindly to the news of the rebellion, and he was right. The war would rage for another 8 years, and many lives would be lost before the United States was finally recognized as an independent nation. But thanks to the courage of men like Samuel Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and the other founding fathers, the United States was born, and we have been enjoying the fruits of their labor ever since. If you enjoyed this episode, then check out more episodes on the American Revolution.